All right, great. So now that we have the tool set installed for Amazon, we're going to go ahead and build a simple ASP.NET Web API project, a REST server, if you will. So let's do that first. So we are going to do, we're not going to do ASP.NET Core. We'll do some more videos showing how we can do this with ASP.NET Core. And let's see, I want to pick a different place for this. So let's see, we will do we'll call this we're going to do an Elastic Beanstalk server. Now, Elastic Beanstalk, remember, is just orchestration, so it's still going to use EC2 underneath the covers. It just handles things for us. So we'll select that. And then we want to do Web API, and we don't want anything else checked here. Just hit OK, and that will go out and create our project for us. Okay, so here's our project. Our controller that we're going to be messing around with is the values controller right here. And this just has some test code in it right now. So the first thing we're going to do is run this locally. We're not going to try to do anything with Amazon until we know that everything's working the way it's supposed to. And it will, because this is just test code that runs out of the box. You don't have to do anything with it. So I'm just going to run this. Here we go, we're running on localhost 2711. And here we are. So our URL that we need to go to is /API/values. That's where the REST endpoint is for this values controller. And we get data back. Now, obviously, we'd like that to look better than that. So we are going to use, where did my Postman go? Oh, I thought I had Postman running, but we'll get it running again here. Well, I'm waiting on Postman to come up, but while it is, you can see that everything's running like we expect. So we can go ahead to our next step, which is to deploy this to Amazon. So to do that, it's pretty easy. We right-click on the project and select Publish to AWS Elastic Beanstalk. Now, you won't have this option unless you've installed the toolset or the toolkit. And we're going to create a new application environment. So it's going to walk you through a wizard here. And so this is going to be the URL that things are going to come out at. You need to check the availability on this. Because you have to have a unique name. So I just made something up. Okay, again, this is where you want to make sure that you get the free tier. So single instance environment, 64-bit Windows Server, T2 Micro, that is in the free tier. Now it may be that you have an Amazon account that you don't need to worry about the free tier part, and that's great. But I'm just going to go ahead and hit finish, and we're going to hit deploy, and then it is going to go out and do the deployment. And while it's doing that, we are going to jump over to our management console. And we're going to jump over here to Elastic Beanstalk, and you're going to actually see it coming up. So it's going to show the output right here from Amazon Web Services as it runs. And down here under Elastic Beanstalk, you'll actually be able to see things show up here. Remember, Elastic Beanstalk's an orchestrator that basically takes care of building your security group and everything else that you need. So it basically does this create a web app for you. So we're not gonna do that. And it hasn't created anything yet. It's still doing the connection. So I'll pause this while it runs through this. It takes a little bit of time for it to get the server spun up and to get everything working the way it's supposed to. Here you can see, here it goes right now. It's uploading the deployment package. So it's created the deployment package locally, and now it's pushing it up. Now remember, when we were doing this before, we had to manually move these files over with FTP. So this is much better to be able to do it this way. So now it says it's going and creating the application. You get some warnings here about it's not supporting advanced health options. Don't worry about that. And it says it's published successfully. So now if we go back over here to Elastic Beanstalk, here is the application. So it is coming up. It's gray right now, which means it's in the process of being built. It'll turn green when it's all ready to go. Underneath this application is an EC2 instance, our Windows server that we're actually using. So if I jump over here to EC2, I didn't have any EC2 instances. And you will see that now I have some that are starting up right here. So it's initializing this right now. So again, it takes a few minutes for it to get all this built and ready to go for you, but you've got a full Windows server out there in Amazon that you're going to be able to hit from the public internet, which is pretty cool. And so I am going to just wait until this turns green, and then I'll unpause the video and we'll go from there. Let's jump over. Let's just see if anything more. So this is basically done. You can see it says that it's got it out there. That's because the application was created. You can hit view status here, and you can see what it's actually doing right here. So this is the actual startup that it's doing. So for example, right now it says it was waiting for EC2 instances. It assigned the IP address for you. It created the security group. This is all the stuff that Elastic Beanstalk does for you, instead of you having to go in and manually configure all of that and set it all up in Amazon. So this is a great way to build web applications out there. It makes it very, very easy to build them and deploy to them. So back over to the console, back to Elastic Beanstalk. And I'll pause this until it turns green, and then we'll come back. Now we're green, so this is now ready to go. Now, here's the URL right here. And so if I grab that, if I copy that link address, now I can call it from obviously a web browser like this. API/values. So it's calling out to that server in Amazon. See the results. So this is not running locally now. This is running out on an Amazon server. I did find Postman, so here it is. If I go ahead and send this request, there's my values in JSON. All right, so that worked. Now, what happens if, so how can I prove to you how easy this is to update? Let's go into the values controller and just add another value. Value 3. Now, you know right now that if I make this call, I'm getting values 1 and 2. And that is just out there running. So what I'm going to do is publish this again with this change in it. The difference this time is I'm going to redeploy to an existing environment. And just hit finish. Now, if you were deploying in a production environment, you'd want to make sure that you didn't take downtime if your servers had traffic on them. I'm not going to deal with any of that right now, but the build is started. It's going to run through. And over here, what you're going to see on our Elastic Beanstalk dashboard is this will go gray again when it deploys. And it'll deploy the new software and then it'll come back and go green again. Green is good. It means things are running the way they're supposed to. So right now it's packaging everything locally. And then it will go through and do the deploy just as it did before. Here it goes. Again, you can do all this manually, but it's really nice to have it integrated into Visual Studio. Okay, so it published okay. And so we should see this thing go gray. There it goes gray. And then it will come back green as soon as it's done doing the deploy. It won't take as long this time because the servers are already up. Or the server is already up, I should say. And if you wanted to, again, you could view status over here and see exactly what it was doing. If you wanted to do that. It shows you when it was updated. And the console is really the best way to, you can watch it. You can certainly watch it within Visual Studio, but this will come back green here in just a minute. Again. Now let's try to hit that endpoint again. Let's see what we get. You can also do it through Postman. You notice there's our changed value. So it did in fact deploy the new code. It's out running again in Amazon. Makes it really easy to get things out there. So we'll continue on and start building a more elaborate project using the Amazon tools. You certainly can do similar things in Azure. I did a whole series of videos doing Web API up to Azure. With this, I'll be using SQL Server and the Windows solutions that are out there in Amazon so that you can see what that looks like there as well. Thanks for watching. Please like the videos and comment if you have comments. If you have recommendations for improvement or you have things that you'd like to see me do, please just let me know. Thanks.